Hi, this is Adam Denny broadcasting live in the News studios at Cal State Long Beach. I'm bringing you 5 hot topics from around the world. Ellen DeGeneres gives pizza away to the audience at her Oscars party. Iranian drivers fall for economical cars. Kelly and Michael's TV ratings skyrocket through the Oscar awards. And the execution is upheld for the man in the Sunbelt Fear verdict case. Officially Lent here for Catholics and Christians, and we're going to talk about the sacrifices that they are making. There's been a lot of buzz about the Oscars, and Ellen DeGeneres gives pizza delivery man a $1,000 tip. 24 hours prior to her show airing, she made an anonymous pizza order where the delivery man thought he was going to bring the pizzas to stage workers that were working behind the scenes at the Oscars. Little did Edgar know that he was actually going to be on stage, brought out in front of everybody, and deliver these pizzas. Ellen collected tips for the delivery man in Pharrell Williams' hat. She passed the hat around, and the audience coughed up $600, and Ellen made it an even $1,000 by donating $400 of her own money. This story is relevant because people can relate to the celebrities. Everybody gets hungry, and almost all Americans love pizza. The Big Mama's Pizza delivery man brought out 20 cheese, pepperoni, mushroom, and olive pizzas. In Iran, there has been a motion where motorists have embraced the new car called the Pride. Originally, the Iranian drivers did not like the change. They were more accustomed to the 1960s era. It's called the Paycan, which is a box-shaped sedan, and it has its British Hunter resemblance. And this is something that Iranians regarded as a way of life and as a status symbol. But now Iranians are looking for a more economical car. That's where the Pride comes in, and it's pronounced pre-ride in Indian. And so in Iran, the price of gasoline is 7 to 9 cents per liter, yet they're still striving to have great fuel economy. The Pride is a Kia Motors import that is also assembled in Iran. Although it's locally designed, many Iranians cannot afford this new car. It's too expensive, some say, and it's selling from between $7,500 and $8,500 depending on the model. And the vehicle has been making an impact in a domestic issue in politics because of the uprising that the presidential election next June, and President Mohammed Ahmadinejad is a part of this new brand of cars, and they think that the money that he is making and the profits are going to skew the election, and part of the reasoning for bringing this new product was for his personal gain only. This has crippled the Iranian automobile industry, and imports have been rising. In the last year, there have been 50,000 cars imported, including BMWs, Mercedes, Toyotas, and Lexuses. Currently in Iran, there are 1 car per every 12 citizens. In order to combat this issue of the decline in the Iranian automotive market, there has been a push for producing so-called Islamic cars, and they believe that this will appeal to the consumers who have their roots based in the religion. And also, they're hoping to receive financial support from governments like Malaysia, Turkey, and to be the big car producers in the Islamic world. This is a really hot topic, and not only is it social, but it's also political because it involves um, the president election. Politics seems to always have its hand in both the money and the government, and it is so evident that this is the case in this instance as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the future and how the Iranian automobile industry will do and the success of the Pride model in the future. After the Oscars ended, hosts of the live show, Kelly and Michael, kept the party going. The limos were gone, the parties were over, yet 3,000 fans were still lined up outside the lobby of the Dolby Theater, where the live staff had spent all night turning the Oscar stage into a set for the annual Live with Kelly and Michael after Oscars show. This is contemporary news and something that a lot of Americans are interested in because everybody loves movies, especially the viewers, of the Oscars. And this is a live show, so it's something that you wouldn't normally see. So having the chance to be there in person must have been an amazing feeling. And as described by many of the audience members, it was an unforgettable moment. And they erupted in cheers and chants that says, "We love you, Kelly, and we love you, Michael," during the commercial break. And Michael and Kelly, they were drinking champagne before and after the show, talking with the winners, and the live look of the show, Live with Kelly and Michael, the ratings have skyrocketed to levels that only directors would dream of. They gained about 14% in this last year, and they reach an average of 4 million viewers per episode. This is why the show, the Oscar Awards, the hosts, and everybody that produces the show has a social impact on our country because we as the viewers feel like we're a part of the show, and it makes us feel that that we can relate to Michael and we can relate to Kelly, and that this is why their ratings have gone so high and why their show has been so successful in the last 3 years. The California Supreme Court upheld the death sentence for Jonathan Keith Jackson, who was convicted of murdering a woman in an attempt drug-related robbery in Riverside County in 1996. On trial, he was placed with a stun belt, and this belt would be remotely operated and at the touch of a button could release 50,000 electric volts shock, able to control and to bring down anybody wearing the belt within 8 seconds. Jackson and his representatives argued that because he was wearing the belt, he was so nervous about making any small movements and that the belt may be unnecessarily discharged on him, that he couldn't show his true emotions in the trial. And because he couldn't show his true emotions, he felt like the jury didn't have any sympathy. They thought he was just a cold-blooded murderer. And in his opinion, he doesn't believe he should get the death penalty, but that since he had the sunbelt on, he was just sitting so still, and he wasn't acting as himself. So he wanted to appeal this and to state that before 1996, there was laws that you didn't have to wear a stun belt, and it was only for violent convicted criminals, and he didn't consider himself as violent because he didn't have a record or anything like that. But lately, over the past 10 years, it's just become a standard. And I believe that it was just his worries and in his head. I don't think that there would be an accidental stun accident that might cause him great pain. And to me, and to the Supreme Court, it was almost just like an appeal, hoping to change the verdict, but it wasn't really what made the jury decide, because they didn't decide on behalf of his emotions. The jury was instructed to make their decisions on behalf of the evidence presented to them during trial. For Christians and Catholics around the world, it's that time of year again. It's 40 days before Easter, which means it's Lent. Lent got its roots from the Middle East, and it's a 40-day ritual which represents how Jesus, the period of times which Satan tempted Jesus in the desert. And it's where Catholics and Christians can give their sacrifice and relate to Jesus. And this is where many people give up things like chocolate, coffee, candy, and items like that. Well, now the new thing is social media. Over the past few years, this has become one of the largest categories that people have given up for Lent. In this article, the subject gives up Facebook, and they said that this is a social networking site which they use every day, and it's something that they feel like they're addicted to, and that they use to keep in contact with their grown children and their friends. And even though they live in a remote area, they're still willing to give this up to sacrifice for their religion. Personally, as a Catholic, I believe in Lent. I celebrate too. I usually don't choose such extreme measures, and for me, Facebook doesn't really make sense because I use that for family, friends, and for school as well, along with my clothing company. So it's almost like that's a sacrifice that I don't believe Jesus would want me to make. But for me this year, I'm going to give up any kind of caffeine. So it could be Starbucks, it could be chai teas, it could be anything like that, sodas. These are something that I have often. They're not the best for your body, and I think that that's a moral sacrifice, something that I can do for 40 days, and I won't have to worry about breaking my pledge. The writer wants people to understand that the 40 days signifies 40 days that Jesus himself was out in the desert, and what sacrifices he made for all of us. So this year, the author is suggesting that you pick something that is really important to you, and that would be a sacrifice, so you can relate, and that those who do this will become closer to God. This concludes my In the News report. I'm Adam Denny, and I'm signing out for the night. Thanks for listening.